Okay, we're up.
Okay, all right, well, I will call the September 14, 2020 Union-Thurston Board of Education regular meeting to order. It is 7:02. Roll call, Ms. Boyer.
Ms. Cato? Here. Mr. Hoke-Rattle? Mr. Moore?
Here.
Mr. Shook?
Here.
Dr. Walter?
Here. Please join me in a pledge of allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Item 3, discussion and approval of the minutes. And I think that takes us to about page 7, I think. Anybody have any corrections or questions from minutes from last month? If not, I'd entertain a motion to approve the minutes.
Second.
Got a motion by Sean Shook, seconded by Carol Cato to approve the minutes of the regular meeting of the Union-Thurston Board of Education meeting held on August 10th, 2020 as printed. Ms. Boyer.
Ms. Cato?
Yes.
Mr. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Shook?
Yes.
Dr. Walter?
Yes. All right. Item 4, monthly financial statements. April.
All right. You have our bank reconciliation. And then the monthly report. So let's see here. If you go to the revenue section, which is page 4 and 5, we received our income tax and it was down 2.3%, which that's about what we expected it to be. We'll just watch it and see, what happens. We'll get another payment in October, and we don't have to turn in the next 5-year forecast until November, so we'll have a pretty good idea on how to forecast that then. We received our property taxes. It was up over last year. Collections in August. We received almost 134,000 more. And homestead and rollback was also up, which was about 11,400 up over last year. And then our casino revenue, that was down 17,201, which was right about half, and we were expecting that. And they're saying that the casino revenue for our payment that we get in January should be right back up where it was before.
Really?
They said that they've been very busy
Huh.
since they've opened back up. Our expenditures, it shows there's a decrease, and there's a few different reasons for that. We haven't paid for our bus yet. I guess they're saying that they're having problems getting some parts and things for the buses. And of course, we haven't had a normal year. And then our counselor's expense, that's now coming out of our wellness grant money. So what we normally pay for them is coming out of there, so that would have dropped it too. And then on page 8 is our interest income. I also wanted you to be aware that House Bill 406, which limits schools, has passed both, which limits schools' liability because of the COVID virus, has passed both the House and the Senate, and as of right now, I don't think the governor signed it yet. I haven't got anything yet, but that's where it's sitting, is on his desk to be signed. And then we have our bills. Let's see here. Sean Hoke-Rattle got here, so we'll put him down at 7:06.
Here.
Alright. Okay, so the bills on page 1, 59197 to Pioneer Valley Books for $3,354.60 was for literacy footprints for the elementary students, and that came from the general fund. 95204, Top Cat Concrete for $2,063.88. Was new concrete for the athletic building, and that came from the 004 Building Fund. 95220, Multi-Service Tech Solutions, and 95232, Multi-Service Tech Solutions. Were $10,211.36 and $14,963.16. Both of those are Best Buy, and they're for TVs and Chromecast devices, and that came from the general fund. The PO total is $42,041.37, and we still owe almost $17,000 left on that. On page 2, 95243 is David Price for $6,250, and that was to excavate, reinforce, and pour footers for the athletic building, and that came from the building fund. 95247, Go Guardian for $15,210, and that's software, and that came from the general fund. 95268, First Choice Heating and Air for $16,009.66. Of this, $10,617.48 was to replace the bearing assembly and shaft and fan assembly at the high school. And that came from the Classroom Facilities Fund, and the balance were just other small repairs that came from the general fund. And 95280, Johnson Controls and Fire Protection for $11,000. That's our annual fire alarm testing, and that came from the general fund. Page 3, 95295, Scholastic for $2,597.97. That's resale items from Scholastic News and Storytime for the elementary school, and that's the general fund. And then 95298 is Sunbelt Rentals for $1,801.47, and that was the rental of a wood chipper, and that came from the general fund. And then we have the donations. We received 1,000 masks, material masks from the Bureau of Workers' Comp. And then $400 from Pheasants Forever, and that was for bird boxes to FFA. $500, an anonymous donation to the football fundraiser, and $90.34 from CLC donation from to the athletic department. And that's what I've got.
You may have any questions for people? No, do I have a motion to approve the financial items? Motion by Carol Cato, seconded by Sean Shook to approve monthly financial items as stated above. Ms. Boyer?
Mr. Hookrum.
Yes.
Mr. Moore.
Yes.
Mr. Shook.
Yes.
Dr. Walter.
Yes.
Ms. Cato. Yes.
Okay, item 5, new business financial, and we do have a revision on this, which is on our addendum for 5A, which has the appropriations for 2021, and also on that addendum will be an item H as well, so we're going to forget that. So item A is the appropriations. B is service providers. The superintendent recommends approval of the following. IXL Learning, September 19th, 2020 through September 19th, 2021. Math Unlimited Instructor Count for grades 9 through 12. Fee is $1,500. Item C is resolution of the governing body. The superintendent recommends approval of the following, and this is with Raymond James, so this is something that's not specified, but it's with Raymond James. Let's see, item D, memorandum of understanding for the provision of mental health services. Item E is authorized disposal of district property. The Blank Department, Mr. Chris Turner, Mr. Brander Thomas is requesting and recommending approval to dispose of a table saw, and that will be, this will not be for resale, this will be for disposal, correct one, just because of safety. And then item 2 is authorized disposal of district property. The Blank Department, Mr. Chris Turner, Mr. Brander Thomas requesting and recommending to dispose of a planer. value on each of those was $200, and again, that's to be disposed of, not for resale. Authorized disposal of district property. Dr. Mike Johnson, superintendent, recommends disposal and requests approval to sell a customizable mobile server rack. Recommend approval. F is agreement between the Village of Baltimore and Liberty Union-Thurston School District for high school, middle school, and elementary security. Item G is a settlement agreement. And then H gets us back to the addendum page, which is van purchase. Superintendent Dr. Mike Johnson and Transportation Director Mr. Adam Leake request approval of the purchase of a 2020 Ford Transit 10-passenger van for $39,641, which is identical to the van we have now. This will be used to transport special needs students to the Honda schools that have been added this year. All right. I believe that's all in 5 minutes. Dr. Johnson, anything you want to hit on any of those? Or April, do you want to go through anything on the appropriations?
Well, the appropriations, the grants are just their normal changes that they make. The $240,000 to the general fund, that's due to hiring 2 bus drivers, purchasing the van, the fuel and the upkeep of the additional van, some additional tuition reimbursement that we hadn't been planning on, and there's a couple of student services that we had to include. And then also, I wanted to give you a little information on the settlement, which is 3 payments to the school district, totaling right about $29,310, and that's for years 2019 through 2021. And in exchange for that, we agree to keep the auditor's original $392,370 value on the records. So that's basically what all of that says. And that's what I have. Do you have anything else, Mike?
I don't have anything to add to that.
Nothing on this, okay. All right. Anybody else have any questions on any of those items? All right. Well, I will entertain a motion to bring the new business financial.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Carol Peta, seconded by Bill Moore to approve the new business financial items as stated. Ms. Boyer?
Mr. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Shook?
Yes.
Dr. Walter?
Yes.
Ms. Cato?
Yes.
Mr. Hookrattle?
Yes.
Item 6, new business personnel. A, employee personnel. The superintendent recommends approval to hire the following personnel. Name is Donna Ellis, building services at the elementary school building. Step 0 with 90-day probation, effective August 24th, 2020. Number 2, James Warner, bus driver, step 1 with 90 days probation, effective date September 15th. B, resignation. Elementary school head cook Pam Pulvermacher has submitted her resignation. Her last day of employment is October 2nd, 2020. Recommend approval. C, supplemental contracts. I won't read through all this, but I will note that for Coach Scholl, it's Butch, but it's actually his name is Scott. So that's just a clarification on that. Could I have a motion for new business personnel?
So moved. Second.
Motion by Sean Shook, seconded by Bill Moore to approve the new business personnel items as stated. Ms. Boyer?
Mr. Shook?
Yes.
Dr. Walter?
Yes.
Ms. Cato?
Yes.
Mr. Hookrattle?
Yes.
Mr. Moore?
Yes.
Item 7, new business other. A is the 2020-2020 curriculum guide. And we've got a whole host of policy updates. Jennifer, do you want to talk on the curriculum guide? Or any updates on that?
Sure. Some basic things that occur every year, just with updating page numbers and making sure the years are correct and that kind of thing. There's a change in the name of the math curriculum at the elementary school. I want to make sure that I stress that it's not a change in curriculum at all. It used to be Eureka Math was the company that we purchased the curriculum from. We're now going to purchase it from a different company, it's called Zern Math instead, but it is not a change in the curriculum at all, just the company that we're purchasing it from. So, and the teachers at the elementary school and I all sat down and talked about that messaging, just in case, parents had questions about why we might be changing math curriculums, we weren't at all. We updated the high school course offerings, to include, math lab as well as the University of Cincinnati courses that we're offering. We added Spanish 8 into the course descriptions, at the middle school, which you, I believe, also received like the, new course approval
Yes.
form. That was a new process that we started and adopted in policy last year. We are a little bit behind in the what will be the new normal timeline, just because we adopted it, I think, the month before COVID hit, and then that paperwork wasn't submitted
Yeah.
until the summer, but, so we're getting it on the agenda now, but it is in the curriculum guide. And I think that's it for the changes.
You got any questions for Jennifer? And as I said, there's multiple policy updates. We got AAC, non-discrimination for harassment, ACA, non-discrimination on the basis of sex, ACCA, sexual harassment, ACAA-R, sexual harassment grievance process. Let's see, AFC-1 and GCM-1 evaluation of certified staff. Let's see, GCL-2-E course verification form. Let's see, IND/INDA, school ceremonies and observances, patriotic exercises, JED, student absences and excuses, JEGA, permanent exclusion, let's see, JFCF, hazing and bullying, JFCF-R, hazing and bullying, JGD, student suspension, JGDA, emergency removal of student, JGE, student expulsion. KG, community use of school facilities premises, KLD, public complaints about district personnel, KLD-R, public complaints about district personnel. And I think that's it for the policy updates. Dr. Johnson, anything you want to add to any of those?
Most of the policies are due to a Title IX change, and so you can notice in almost every case they're referring to Title IX.
Right.
And that caused it to be changed.
Then we've got, let's see, then item 6 is request camp approval. The superintendent is requesting and recommending approval of the following for his camp. Sponsors are Mr. Keith Robinson and Mr. Marcus Alford. The trip will be canceled at least 60 days in advance if COVID-19 is still an issue. This will avoid any additional financial penalties. Parents and 8th grade students will be informed that they will forfeit $50 administrative fee should the trip be canceled. There are no guarantees that the trip can take place, but without approval to move forward to plan and arrange for accommodations and travel, the opportunity will never materialize, and that's for the 8th grade DC trip, which would tentatively be May 12th through May 14th. And this is EDU prime tours. Lodging will be a hotel, chaperones will be teachers and parents. Approximate cost is $475 per student based on 4 per room, $575 per adult based on 2 per room. And that's the price of at least 90 students and or adults attend. That is item C. And then item D is permission to recycle. The curriculum coordinator and the superintendent request permission to recycle the following used and no longer used textbooks. Recommend approval. I was going to have Mr. Shook read through all these.
Yeah, you want to.
All right. Anybody have any questions on those items? And those are all just textbooks that we're disposing of, Dr. Johnson. If not, could I have a motion for the new business other?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Carol Cato, seconded by Sean Shook. To approve the new business other, as noted above, Ms. Boyer.
Dr. Walter?
Yes.
Ms. Cato?
Yes.
Mr. Hook-Rattle?
Yes.
Mr. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Shook?
Yes.
Item 8, executive session, and I do believe we have some topics there, but that would be
A4,
A4.
and items that need to remain confidential.
Okay.
Which one is that?
All right. Do I have a motion? Oh, I'm sorry.
I actually have something, Dr.
Yeah,
Waller,
sure.
and I'm not sure, I don't wanna not do something procedurally correct, but I had a question in regards to something that we do here in the district.
Okay.
So I don't think it qualifies for executive session, but I did wanna bring it up and just question it. Do we charge our teachers to get into athletic events? Or do they get a pass, or are they allowed to go watch those events without
They're on the
being charged?
list. I think they're on the list.
Okay,
They
but
don't
They don't have
I had asked
all home games.
Okay, I had asked one of the teachers who actually takes, money at the events, and she said that she knew that they used to get in free, but she did not know if that was still, the way that it's done. I just think that we should not be charging our teachers. I think our teachers should be allowed to go and support former students, current students, or whatever in their athletic. I mean, if we're wanting to build relationships and we're wanting those teachers to be involved in watching those, I just think that we should be, doing that for our teachers to allow them to go watch those, student athletes perform. So I just
I don't know
wanted
those
to find out.
names, I don't know.
I guess we can get some clarification, but I thought they were, as you said, they were on that list of.
I thought we had a list, but I
Yeah.
don't know if something changed, and,
Okay.
I wouldn't know if they
Sure.
quit using the list.
Yeah, I mean, it's been, this year's been such a,
Yeah.
it's kind of a bust anyway, but yeah, as far as I know, that there was the list, that it had like, administration and faculty, staff.
Okay.
I thought, yeah.
So there's a lot of turnover too,
Sure.
in the last few years, so somebody may not have been informed or.
Well, she's been teaching in the district
Oh,
for
okay.
several years, so I
Okay.
just, I wanted to just,
Yeah.
I told her that I would, check into it and so forth, and I just think that would be something that we could
Probably
definitely do
just
for.
check with, do a
Is
Janet.
Janet on? Is that the
Is Janet
Janet
on?
for Janet?
Yeah, that's her.
No, that's
Or
Or it
Yeah, I
says
think it's
Jan,
Oh, that's-
Jan
Oh, I'm
Redwood.
sorry.
Okay. Oh, sorry. I didn't see that.
Is she here?
She is
No,
not.
she's
She
not
was
on.
at a soccer game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll check and
Okay,
communicate back.
okay, thank you.
All right, well then, do I have a motion to go into executive session?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Bill Moore, second by Carol Cato, to go into executive session for the reasons stated at 7:25.
Just for clarity, it was A, 4, and E.
A4 and E. Yeah. Okay, and do I have, Ms. Boyer?
Ms. Cato?
Yes.
Mr. Hook-Rattle?
Yes.
Mr. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Shook?
Yes.
Dr. Waller?
Yes.